of shift rotorcraft and aircraft towing or refueling have the right of way over each
Kevin, one important point, right of way, we fly a lot of ridges. Right wing on the ridge has the right of way. That's not written down in any FARs or so, but that's a rule within the glider community.
Yeah, the ridge presents an interesting situation. Here it is, approaching head-on. Okay, when aircraft are approaching each other head-on, or nearly so, each pilot of each aircraft shall of course to the right. Okay. Overtaking. Each aircraft that's being overtaken has the right of way. And each pilot of an overtaking aircraft shall alter course to the right to basketball clear. Well, that's the one that gets altered when you're on the ridge. Let me skip ahead to here we go. Okay, let me just make sure this is complementary to what Peter just said. When ridge soaring, reverse turns should be made away from the ridge and into the wind. An overtaking glider should pass between the ridge and the overtaking glider. Is that good?
Otherwise, well, clear.
Yeah. I think if you're at the same altitude, I think the issue here is that if you're on the upwind side and you're at the same altitude, the glider near the ridge makes the normal turn away from the ridge. You don't have to run into you.
You never want to be in that position.
Yeah.
You never want to be in that position or above where that glider's going to turn up and inside. So if you don't have room to, say if you've got a blanket on the ridge and you've got a single seat glider coming up behind, that single seat may not be able to go between the ridge and the glider.
You go underneath.
You would go underneath and outside. Because that blanket's not going to dive like that. And communicate.
Because any maneuver that the glider on the ridge will make is a turn and pull-up associated with it. So you get in a spot to pass underneath, down the ridge, and underneath. You can always then see the glider while passing, and once you get out in front of him, he can see you again.
Everybody understand that? Yeah, it's just, you're going to be turning away and climbing, so
Usually
that's the zone you want to stay away from. Approaching head-on, should give way to the right again, with the wingtip on the right having
You can't go right.
having precedence. Avoid flying directly above or below in a glider. And of course the thermal boots. One who's there first gets to choose a direction. Okay, so aerobatic flight. No person may operate an aircraft in aerobatic flight over congested areas. Open air assembly persons within the lateral boundaries of the surface areas of Class B, C, D, and E airspace as an airport. Within 4 miles of a federal airway. Now, there are federal airways pretty close to Newton. So, however, we'll learn. Here's a federal airway right here. Here's one right here. There's another one. May not be on this blow up here. But we're typically not going to see aircraft anywhere near the altitudes that we would use it to train. So as Don will talk about that soon, we'll learn about the altitudes that we commonly find in and out of the 4 miles would put us in this range west of the fjord. And we don't want to do this below 1,500 feet or when it is below 63 miles. Parachutes. Okay. So be quizzing this. So parachutes have to be repacked within 120 days if they're synthetic, and 60 days if they're made silk or natural fiber. And you need to carry a parachute if you're performing an aerobatic maneuver. And that would be a bang angle greater than 60 degrees, nose up to 30 degrees or more. And it doesn't apply for flight instruction Interestingly enough, there's no detail here, it doesn't apply to flight instruction as required by the regulations for any certificate rating, and that only applies to flight instructor. So, strictly speaking, we really ought to be carrying parachutes, unless you're going through flight instructor. Supplemental oxygen, 12,500 feet up to 14,000, you need it after 30 minutes. And above 14,000, you need it continuously. And at 15,000, you can bring your passengers back out of the stupor that they're falling into by giving them experience. Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Don, and he's going to talk a little bit more about Roanoke airspace. And things that...
Do you have a section you put up there?
Well, yeah, let me, I have this picture right here. Okay.
Let's work with that. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I always enjoy speaking to pilot groups, and I was fortunate enough to get a birthday ride a couple of years ago. My girlfriend gave me a glider ride for my birthday. Kevin towed me up in November, so it wasn't great soaring, but I had a real good time, and I got to play along the ridges and kind of feel what flying a glider was like. I'm a student pilot. I've been a student pilot for about 20 years. It allows me to do what I want to do. I get an airplane, I go out and fly by myself. When I retire, I'm going to go ahead and work on coming up and kind of playing around with you all, maybe getting a glider rating. But my girlfriend said I couldn't give up my weekends to start with. I get weekends twice a year, and she's real productive about weekends, so I can't commit to something else on weekends. Some of the things I wanted to mention with operation in and out of Roanoke. We know you're up there, we're aware of it. The first thing is the communication thing we talked about. If anytime you're going to go up soaring, if you just give us a call, let us know you're going to be up in the area. What we do is we put a little circle on our radar map, and it's a reminder to every controller that sits down there that there's a possibility of glider operations. Roanoke's radar is extremely poor, anything north of the ridge. Our radar sits on the airport, and coming across that ridge, we don't see jet traffic with the transponder until they're 10 miles from the airport at 11,000 foot or above. So that gives you an idea. There's a chance that somebody's going to be up there. Even if we know you're there, we won't see them. Your tow plane coming and going, anything below about 3,500 feet, we don't even have good radio transmissions with. So your soar plane coming up, some people say, well, we can't really understand you. Well, that's true, because it's line of sight. We don't have real good communications down in the valley. That's why a phone call is real important. Phone call 563-5985 is the phone call directly into the TRACON. That's answered 24 hours a day by either a supervisor or a controller. And that's the best way of letting us know.
Would you say that again, please?
Yeah, 563-5985. And all you got to do is, before you start your operations that day, give us a phone call and say, hey, we're up here in Newcastle, we're going to do a little operation today. I don't care how many you're going to do, I'm going to warn everybody I know in that area that there's a possibility